it's Christine. I just want to give you a couple of tips on trying to do a Facebook Live event. So I know it can be pretty nerve-wracking your first time doing a live event, maybe even your 5th time doing a live event or your 50th time. It happens. It happens to all of us. We get butterflies, a little bit anxious, and that's perfectly normal and it's okay. I'm just here to give you a few tips that might help ease those butterflies and make you feel a little more confident in your next live event. One is, if at all possible, stand. Standing gives you a dominating presence. It also makes you look like an authority, and that is something that will give you confidence and moving forward. It also gives, it's a lot easier to move around when you're standing rather than sitting. Now, it is not a mandatory thing, and if you cannot stand, it's okay, you can sit. But if you have the ability to stand, I would recommend that. So if you need to move around, pick things up, show a piece, you're not having to get up and down, you're not having to try to move a chair back and forth. It just is a little bit more fluid if you stand. The other thing is, be aware of your camera angles. So if there's a camera that is just slightly above you, that is the best angle for you. You want it just slightly above, looking down on you. It doesn't have to be too high, just slightly above so that it's a nice angle. It gives you the best angle for appearance. And if you think about what happens if you take a picture from below, you're seeing angles of your face or other areas that are probably not the most flattering. And you have to think about, where are your viewers' eyes gonna go? So where do you want your viewers' eyes to be? Where is the attention? Where is that for you? And so just kind of keep that in mind when you're working with camera angles. And if you're using a phone, it's really easy to do. You can stick your tripod on a table, you can adjust the legs, and if you're using a computer, you can probably maybe just get one of those, like, I call them breakfast in bed shelves. So, you know, those like little tables that you can put your breakfast in bed on, and put your little laptop on that so it gives it a higher angle. Work with it, work with what you have, and just try to think about your angles. The next one is, be aware of your surroundings. And you'd be surprised how many people do live events and they're not even really aware of their surroundings. Just take a moment and look around and see what is in your background. If you're like me, you might have kids, there might be toys in the background, there might be, I don't know if you're doing it in your bedroom, there might be an unmade bed, or you may have left your boxes from unpacking all of your magnificent jewelry in the corner. Just be aware of what is going to be in your background. What is it that your viewers are going to see? Are you okay with that? And if you are, that's all right. Just be aware of what is in your background. Another thing is noise. Be aware of the background noise. What are they going to hear? And sometimes sounds to you are kind of muted because you hear them all the time. You might have your dryer on. There might be, like, I live by the Air Force Base, so there's jets that go over, and I hear them all the time, so they kind of blend in. They don't affect me the way they might affect a viewer, and how they are not able to hear, or a sound that might be, like, one time I had my the beeping going from my fire alarm. My fire alarm battery was going low, and it had that annoying beep, and of course it happened right in the middle of my live event, right? And so just kind of be aware that what you're hearing, most likely the people on the other end are too. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, ceiling fans. So when you have a ceiling, like if you have this going in the background, where's your eye going? Are you paying attention to me, or are you looking at this thing spinning in the background, right? And so if you have the ceiling fan that's just continually spinning, but you're trying to show jewelry, most likely your eye is gonna naturally go to the thing that's moving, because that's what happens, is your eye gets drawn to that. So make sure you turn your camera away from the ceiling fan, or if you can't do that, turn the ceiling fan off, leave it off, and put a fan by your feet, like an oscillating fan or just a stationary fan down at your feet if you need air movement in the room. Let me see. Also, okay, so here is a really great tip. So let's say you're doing your Facebook Live and you have the little pop-ups that Facebook gives you and says, Sally is watching you. Your instinct is to say, hey, Sally, I'm so glad you joined. But Sally hasn't said anything to you yet. So here's a tip. why don't you say something like, if you've just got on the live event, please say hello. Or, I'm so glad you just joined. If you're here, say hi. That's going to increase your engagement, and you want people to say hello to you first before you react to them. Let them be the one to initiate. There's a couple of reasons for that. Maybe someone wants to be a lurker and maybe they don't want to be called out. Or maybe they're sitting next to their husband and they don't want their husband to know that they're watching you. Who knows, right? So just say, hey, if you've just joined, make sure you say hi, and then if they respond to you by saying hello, then you can say back to them, oh, Sally, I'm so glad that you're here. We're gonna have a great party tonight. Thanks for joining me. So that's a really good tip. Also, apologizing. Try really hard not to apologize to people. If you're running a few minutes late, it's all right. Just pop on when you pop on. If you drop something, it happens. Just pick it up and keep going. If your hair keeps getting in your face, don't say, I'm so sorry my hair's in my face. Just brush it away and keep going, right? So those are the things you just gotta keep going without apologizing. You don't have to apologize. People understand this is real life, and we just want to give everybody, encouragement that it's okay. Mistakes are gonna happen, things are gonna fall, earring backs are gonna end up on the ground. It happens. So you just keep going. Just know that it's happened to everyone at some point. I just want to encourage you that the best thing to do is just keep going. Let's see. Oh, and one thing, if someone says, if you're in the middle of showing a jewelry and you're like, okay, you see this beautiful ring that I have on today, these great black, and all of a sudden someone pops up and says, sold, item number, whatever. You don't want to stop showing this piece and say, oh, wait a second, let me grab this sold piece and then come back and show the jewelry again. I'm guilty, and that's why I'm telling you these tips, because some of them are my own problems that I'm trying really hard to work on. So that is one that I struggle with. So I'm trying really hard to finish what I'm showing and then go back and say, okay, I see that Erica wants item number 7, and then I can go pull item number 7 without stopping in the middle of showing something, because it's very disjointed for the viewer if you're in the middle of showing something and then you stop. So those are all really good tips for you, and hopefully it was an encouragement. I just want you guys to know that if you're scared or nervous, it's okay. We've all been there. Sometimes we still get there depending on what the event is. If you need any other advice, please let me know. Hopefully this was an encouragement for you, and good luck with all of your upcoming live events. Bye.